Hello, everyone, and welcome to our season finale for the Blue Zone Nutrition Diet. To give a kind of overview of what the month was all about, so we were looking at nutrition this month. Specifically, the three of us were all trying to follow a Blue Zone diet. Blue Zones are regions in the world that either have the highest population of people living to be over 100 or just generally populations that have the best diets in the world. There are two others, the Nicoya Peninsula. Wow, Peninsula? Is that correct? Yeah, second time lucky, exactly. So Nicoya Peninsula, my God, why could I not say that word? Horrible word. Peninsula.
There it is.
Does anyone know how to say it? Not me, apparently. Anyway, and the final one is the Seventh-day Adventists, who we yet to confirm if they're a cult. I think they are.
So one day's cancelled. Headline out of California.
Exactly.
It's about sort of like cultural heritage, right? It's like because they're usually quite isolated, they're usually still quite traditional. So they're not necessarily westernized, and there's the usual like Cocoa Pops in the supermarket, and it's all the traditional. Pops. Yeah, so do I. There's not the usual. Well, it is the traditional way of kind of raising food, of being in the community, all working together as one, and it means that the style of living hasn't necessarily changed. So I think that three of them are islands, and that we did the three islands, right?
Yeah, we did.
Two are just quite isolated communities that are relatively cut off from the rest of the world.
The traditional Okinawans have this obviously concept called Ikaraia, and it's the belief that if you find something that you're good at, find something that you're passionate about, find something that earns you money, and then also you find something that the world needs, then that is your purpose for living. That is your life force. That is your reason for living a long and your happy life. And they believe that we all have it within us. People don't necessarily find it, but if you're able to connect each one of those like points together, then they believe that is partly why they have such a long old community.
Like purpose, right, and faith in doing the right thing. Yeah.
I always think I'd like to be a window cleaner. I know that's not really relevant to anything.
I can see that.
I'm quite fastidious about cleaning.
Oh, hello.
Good word. Yeah, I know. You're welcome. Word of the day. Or being a binman. I'd love to be a binman. Just cart about on the back of the lorries, like ride them, and then like you jump off, grab the bins, pop them on. So fun.
You were quite an interesting breakfast.
Yeah, you did actually. You remember you telling me about
Yeah. It switched actually throughout the month because unfortunately, like with anything, if you eat it 7 days in a row, you're like...
Yeah, you're bored. Yeah.
So at the start, I was having like whole grain toast with ricotta and with honey on it, and it was unbelievable.
That sounds so good.
The idea of having cheese with honey on bread for breakfast was a bit foreign to me.
Yeah.
But
it works.
Yeah, it's like amazing.
Really?
Like, ricotta is now going to be staying in my weekly shop. Dinners were usually some variant of bean stew. I settled on my favourite as being minestrone. That's been like the most fun one that I've sort of learned to make really well throughout the month. And so I eventually just decided I would have that every day.
Nice.
But yeah, bolossi bean stews, stuff like that.
I made like quite a nice broth. That was kind of like my go-to for the first week or two. I love fish, so it was including tuna steaks at the end. They love a bit of pork, so I was having a couple of pork chops here and there.
Not bad.
And so my lunch would be quite light. Dinner would be a bit heavier, but kind of loved that because there was no kind of carb crash post-lunch.
That's true.
At work. It was all very, very light.
I think there's just a very like holistic, like well-rounded reasoning to why they are living the way they are, and I think I definitely learned a lot from eating that way, and I do actually think I felt better. My skin was actually better, so not that that's the main thing, but I'm just vain, so I noticed that one.
I loved the full focus on whole foods and mostly sort of plant-based stuff. It's not something I would usually do. But it was very mindful with sort of long cooking processes. I feel like sometimes, again, when you're short on time, it's just flash something in the pan.
Yeah.
quick, whereas it was quite a lot of kind of nice preparation. I imagine if there was lots of people all together working around the same sort of table, it'd
Very
be really
social,
fun.
yeah.
So yeah, I really enjoyed the prep side when I had the time. Interestingly, I mean, Tumblr and I still wear our whoops. Halfway through the month, I got a message on my whoop saying, your like heart health and sleep quality have both gone up in the last like 30 days.
Oh, wow.
This could either be linked to something else or a change in your diet. Yeah, the other key takeaway, which was more of the social connection side of things, was I loved the tradition of the sort of the 1 or 2 glasses of red wine a night. Poor Tarpey and Joe, who we live with, were in it every night because they'd come home and I'd be sat there and give them a bit of a ribbing, as is traditional in Sardinia. So this is the last series of the year. We'll be bringing it back in January for a double header, but there'll be more on that soon. So thank you very much for listening.
See you later.
Ciao for now.